welcome to the Wing and a Prayer podcast, a show about all things Seattle Mariner baseball. I am your host, Andy Wing. Thank you for being here. Thanks for following along. It has been a little bit since I put out a show, but we are back. We're going to finish the season strong, and we're ready to take this on and keep going. Now, you can find the show pretty much wherever you find your podcast content, including places like Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. If you listen, please follow, like, share with your friends. Let's keep growing this thing. Appreciate you all being here. Let's get to it. On today's show, we're going to start off with the trade deadline. Everything that happened, all the deals the Mariners made, they went all in, and they went for it. And we're going to cover every little aspect of it. We're then going to cover the second half push. We are in the last 2 months of the season, and they got a big chance to win the division and go out and make a playoff spot, and they absolutely should based on what the team has done. We're going to talk about all things that. We're going to talk a little bit about Cal Raleigh, the year he's had so far, where he's at today, what's been happening of late. I want to talk a little bit about Julio as well, where he's at in the second half of the season. And then we'll give a quick farm system update on what's going on with some of the Mariners players. There's been some recent movement lately, and I think it'd be good to talk about, kind of give everybody an update of where those players are. I'm excited to talk Mariner baseball. We're back with you all today, and let's get into the show. Let's start talking about what things are going on. They did it, folks. They did it. Fans have been clamoring. We've been talking. There have been a lot of discussions about who they should go get at the trade deadline. They need to make this team better. They need more offense. They need more pitching. Go get an impact bat. If you really want to make the playoffs, if you want to make a playoff run, you need an impact bat. The number one trade target was Eugenio Suárez. Yes, the same Eugenio Suárez that the Mariners traded away because he struck out too often and just was regressing. This same Eugenio Suárez has been destroying baseballs for the Arizona Diamondbacks the second half of last season and then the first half of this season. In the last 162 games played for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he hit 54 home runs and 120 RBI or something wild number, close to that. It may not be exact, but he's been destroying baseballs to the tune of 36 first half home runs. And he's free agent at the end of the year, so he's got an expiring contract, and a playoff team is looking for him. Now, the fans, everybody's been clamoring, go get him, make a deal, just do it. And I've been on that fence too, go get him, but I was a little afraid that they'd have to give up too much, and that was a lot of the talk, top 100 prospects. And I'm I don't know, for a rental guy that's going to be here for 2 months, but Jerry and crew did it. The day before the trade deadline, they traded him away, or they traded for him, traded for him, and did not give up too much. We'll go into a second who they gave up for, and we'll break down those players, but they got Eugenio Suárez. And a week before that deal, they made the first real move of the trade deadline and get Josh Naylor, Eugenio Suárez's teammate, first baseman Josh Naylor. Now, I've watched Josh Naylor pretty much since he's been in the league because he played for the Cleveland Guardians, and they made the playoffs, and man, that guy was intense, and he's the guy doing the baby cradle rocking against the Yankees and stirring up a bunch of drama there. And it's just one of those guys you watch from afar. It kind of annoys you, but if he's playing for your team, you love him. I really wanted them to trade for him this past offseason, and when the Diamondbacks got him, and it looked like they didn't give up that much to get him, it was man, why couldn't you just do it then? But doesn't matter. They got him now, and we'll break down a little bit more what he's been doing and what's going on there. And the last guy they got was left-handed pitcher Caleb Ferguson, reliever with the Pittsburgh Pirates, a left-handed reliever, gives some added depth in the bullpen. Gabe Spires, the only left-handed reliever in the bullpen right now, and you just need an extra lefty. Multiple teams around the league, I've noticed, they can bring in multiple lefties, and it gives you matchup advantages at times, especially if you have a lefty-laden lineup. And so I thought that was a great pickup. Now, could they have done a little bit more? Maybe. But they were able to get 3 players without giving any of their top 10, only one of their top 10 players in their own farm system away. But the main key guys we're going to talk about later in the farm system update, Colt Emerson, Johnny Farmelo, Laz Montez, Harry Ford, they didn't even trade. They didn't have to give up any of the main key guys, kind of their future, to do it. So trade number 1, Josh Naylor, acquired from the Arizona Diamondbacks on July 24th for 2 minor league pitchers, left-handed pitcher Brandon Garcia and right-handed pitcher Ashton Izzy. So Brandon Garcia, he's a number 14 prospect within the Mariners system. Ashton Izzy's a number 16 prospect. So these guys aren't like, unknown names, but the average fan is not going to know their name. They're just not. I mean, I follow this team closely. I've heard of these guys, but I'm not following these guys specifically really closely. So if you can get a guy impact bat like Naylor right away, and you have to give these two guys up, you do it. And that's why they did that. So I thought that was a great pickup. And what Naylor does too is his power's not been that great. He's hit like 11 home runs this year. Coming into playing for the Mariners, he's got 2 more now with the Mariners, up to 13. And what I've learned about the guy is he is a smart baseball player, very cerebral. Like even his power numbers went down playing for the Diamondbacks, and his response was, well, I noticed with that park, it's big spaces and it's a lot easier to hit doubles, so I just changed my approach a bit to try to hit more doubles and less home runs. And it worked. And it's like, wow, like most guys can't really even do that, let alone think that way. And the wild thing is, who knew we were going to get prime Ricky Henderson when we got Josh Naylor? He's got 8 steals in 11 games with the Mariners, and it's like every time he gets on base, I expect him to steal a bag. I mean, that's 116 steals over 162 games, and he's not going to keep up that kind of pace, but what he's doing on the bases, and he's like, he's smart. Like he knows how to read the pitcher, he knows how to read the. I love having him on the team, and he's a tough out. He's got a little bit of pop. He puts the bat on the ball, doesn't strike out a whole lot, and that's kind of what this team needed. And an everyday first baseman. He's also a terrific defensive first baseman. He's made several plays that's like, whoa. And then, so the second trade, before they got Eugenio Suárez, they actually got Caleb Ferguson. They were trying to make a deal for Johan Duran, or the Twins. Lost on that deal and pivoted to Caleb Ferguson from the Pirates. So all 3 of these trade deadline deals they made are rentals. In other words, they're free agents at the end of the season, so you're only going to get them guaranteed for this final stretch. Caleb Ferguson, so far this year, 45 games, 3.74 ERA, 165 average against left-handed hitters, though. Lefty specialist. Like I said, adds to Gabe Spire in the bull. They traded him for minor leaguer Jeter Martinez, an unknown name. I don't know that player at all. So, then the final deal, this is a little bit bigger trade package they had to give up, which was understandable, but trade number 3, Eugenio Suárez acquired from the Arizona Diamondbacks for first baseman Tyler Locklear, right-handed pitcher Hunter Cranton, and right-handed pitcher Juan Burgos. So Tyler Locklear is the big name in all this. He's the guy that's been in AAA. He's been smashing AAA pitching. He played for the Mariners for a little bit last year. He even got called up right before this deal this year. And he's the big name going back. So if he pans out, he could be the first baseman for Arizona for several years. I tend to think, this might be harsh, but I tend to think Tyler Locklear is a great AAA hitter and just isn't going to be that great in the major leagues. But I could be wrong. I hope for his sake I am wrong, because I do like him and I think he could be a good player. But I think that is a deal you make all day and to Sunday. That those players to give up, and not having to give up any of your other top 10 players. Locklear is the number 10 player on that team, or not on the team, but like in the prospect pool for the Mariners. And if that's the most highly ranked player you had to give up, well worth it. Absolutely would do that deal in a heartbeat again, over and over again. And I thought for sure, like Harry Ford's going in that deal. And I thought if you had to give up Harry Ford and you got Naylor and Eugenio Suárez, I would have been okay with that, but they didn't have to do it. That was wild. I think that just speaks to the rental player aspect. And, Suárez, he can be a streaky hitter. I mean, we've seen this with the Mariners. We've seen it at times where he goes really hot and he goes really cold. And so that could be also maybe why his price didn't lessened a little bit towards the end there. But it seemed like Arizona was really holding out to the last minute. And so I was kind of surprised to see that. What does this all mean, too? This is the first time in the Jerry Dipoto era they are absolutely going for it at the trade deadline. They've made good trades in the past, but they always trade for guys that have club control for at least another year, or they're under contract for another year. They're not just free agents at the end of the year. and they made some big splashes, Luis Castillo last year, Randy Rosarena. So it's not like they're against like making a big trade to get a great player, but they went for it with 3 guys that are free agents at the end of the year. Like, this might be it, and we're just going to put our pedal to the metal and go for it. Now, why is that? Look around the American League. There's no great teams right now. There's no team blowing it out of the water. I mean, the Blue Jays are probably the best thing, but the Blue Jays started this year like super slow and in 3rd place, and they've only come on strong lately. But baseball is a game of runs, and I don't mean scoring runs. I mean like winning streaks, losing streaks. Every single one of these first place teams have gone on long winning streaks, and they've gone on long losing streaks. There's no real great team. We've seen the Yankees be in first place and then fall out, and now they're falling out of a wild card spot. We'll talk about the wild card and the playoff standings here in just a minute. But this Mariners management told the team and the fans, we are going for it. We're going all out, and we're going to give you every tool and piece possible. Not only did we get the top impact bat on the market, we got the top 2 impact bats in the market. So now it's on the players, right? It's on the players to go execute, because not too often when fans are clamoring for a player or 2 for them to get, do the team actually go get him? I was kind of saying this all along during this process for the trade deadline, that we're talking about Naylor, we're talking about Suarez. The Mariners are going to trade for some guy that is on anybody's radar that didn't even know was available, and that's usually the way it goes. And not this time. The obvious blatant choice was the choice that was made, the deal that was made. And man, is that fun to talk about. And it's fun to see it in action. The Mariners are 5-1 since they made the trade and made the deal for Suarez. This new look lineup, and we're going to talk about it, but this new look lineup is a force. And they're 5-1 and only 2 games back of a division lead and firmly in the 2nd spot of the wild card. So these trades, I love them, absolutely. I think they're one of the best trade deadlines in the market, and didn't have to give up too much. And it's a signal to all the fans and everyone that it's go time. Time is now. It's our opportunity. Go get it. And you know what? The fans see it. The fans are showing up to the games. A big homestand they've been on Tuesday night against the White Sox, 30,000 plus people there. People know. Mariners are becoming an event in this event in Seattle, and people know it, and it's game time. Let's go. Now that the trade deadline is over, the playoff push is on. They didn't go get these players and make the deals they just made to sit back and not make a run at this division. The division is in play. The Astros, I don't know how they're doing it. They've been in first place for the last several months, and they're doing it with duct tape and string. They got 18 players on the IL right now. 18 players from their original roster to start the year. And to be that devastated with injuries and still be in first place and winning games. But one thing we're starting to see is the cracks. We're starting to see them not play as well, lose series, lose more and more games. And the Mariners kind of fluctuated a little bit in the standings, where they were down 4 games and then as much as 7. And they crawled all the way back tonight, back within 2 games of the American League West. And they got a nice little homestand they're playing right now. They took 3 of 4 from Texas. They took the first 2 from the White Sox. If they can sweep tomorrow and then take 2 or 3 from the Rays, there's a chance they could be tied or in first place by the end of this homestand. The Astros, yeah, they went and got Correa, and they may make a run here too, but I don't think they're going to pull it out in the end. I think the Mariners are going to catch him, and now is the time to go get it and execute. And I said earlier that there's no great team. Even the Tigers at the, right before the trade deadline, were the best team in baseball, and they went on a major losing streak, losing like 12 of 14. And that's when the Mariners swept them right at the beginning of that. And they're still in first place because like the AL Central just doesn't have any other good teams to compete with them. The Dodgers have been gone on a bad losing streak this year. I mean, even though, like I said, the Blue Jays are in first, but they didn't start out that way. And so, I kind of wonder, thinking about this, we'll talk about Texas here in a second, but last year, the Mariners started off really hot. They got a 10-game lead. I know you're all thinking, don't tell me again, Andy. That was awful. How can you have a 10-game lead and lose it? Well, Mariners had a 10-game lead. Astros started off under 500 most of the first half of the season. And then they caught fire, literally caught fire, starting in late June to the end of the season, and ended up pulling way ahead of the Mariners in the end. And so they started off really slow, and then the Mariners started off hot, and the Mariners cooled while they got hot. I kind of wonder if this is going to be the opposite this year. Like, the Astros have been hot this first 2/3 of the season without no rhyme or reason to it with the amount of injuries they've had. And the Mariners have been kind of stumbling along, remaining around 500. And maybe they're going to catch fire and the Astros are going to pull back. So I really believe that the division's at play. The wild card's not the play to go here. You got to go get the division. Now, they're in second place in the wild card. They're up a couple games on the next, the Yankees and the Guardians and the Rangers. And winning 3 or 4 that home series they just had against the Rangers is huge. One of the biggest series of the year. To take 3 out of 4 is just exactly what you need. You need to create separation between yourself and the Rangers and push them down and go after the Astros next. And so, again, this division is in play. These are why they made these meals. They would go after the Astros, get the division. Because at the end of the day, if you can get that division and be one of the top records in the American League, you're also looking not just playoffs, you're looking at a first-round bye. And so, but they just got to take care of business right in front of them to start. You can't be thinking about anything else to go and get in that division. And, forget the wild card, go get that division. And the Rangers, too, I've said all along this year that I think the Rangers are overrated. I think their roster's a bit old, and I think they're going to break down and get injured. Now, I've been somewhat right this year. They started off the year extremely slow with the bats, one of the lowest run-producing teams in the league. But their pitching's been really good all year long, and that's really helped carry them to get to where they're at. But they went on a nice run to get tied with the Mariners going into that series, that 3 or 4. That was also why it was a huge series, is because you're tied with that team for second place, and they're going to be vying for a playoff spot. So to take 3 or 4 and then gain a game on them today, so now you're 2.5 games up on the Texas Rangers, that's exactly what they need to do. That's exactly what they need to separate and pull away. I think the Rangers are going to fall back a little bit as the season progresses, but they got great pitching. Next thing, I kind of want to go into the Mariners lineup. And speaking of the Rangers pitching, this new lineup that the Mariners are putting out there, they didn't score a ton of runs against the Rangers, but the Rangers got excellent pitching, and they made the Rangers look mortal, like normal, like not the greatest pitching staff in the world. Especially Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom was like 10-3 with like a 2.4 ERA, just lighting people up, dominating, and another ace goes down as the Mariners take him down. Score 5 runs, 3 home runs off him, and one of his worst outings of the year. And what's amazing about this team is they can take down the ace, Paul Skeens. They can Jacob deGrom. They can take down all these Garrett Crochet. They can take down all these top dog aces, and but sometimes the fifth starter for the A's that is second major league start, you get 2-hit shutout. And their record against 500 and better teams is 7, up until yesterday was like 7 games above 500, and they were even against teams below 500. And so it's good to see them knock off the White Sox these first 2 games of this series, because they're an under 500 team, and you need to beat up on those teams right now. If you're going to go on a run, you have got to beat the tough one of these lower performing teams. And the Mariners have the 28th most difficult schedule left. That's also the 3rd easiest schedule left remaining. And so they've played a lot of really good teams up until this point, and they're going to get a good chance to beat up on the lower end of the league. And this is where you have to take advantage. A game like tonight, you go up 7-1, you go up 7-2, win 8-5, and then you end up winning 8-6. And it was dicey there at the end, but you held on. You got the win. That's all that matters. And they just got to keep going and going and going and keep pushing down that path. And I really think that they have what it takes, and they're going to carry it through. And this lineup right now, I love what they did mixing the lineup around, putting Randy at the top of the order. Randy is a little bit of a streaky hitter, but he gets on base, he'll walk, and he's fast. He steals bases. He makes the game in motion. And I love J.P. Crawford, but he was going through a major slump, and I thought it was the right move to move him to 8th. And he's not exactly dynamo on the bases. And so I thought that was a wise move, putting him down to 8th. Let him get right. Let him just, don't worry, but no pressure. Just go play. And then moving Cal. I don't love Cal at second hitting, and we'll talk about Cal in here just a minute, but I'd rather see Cal hit 3rd or 4th. I think he's more comfortable there. I think he's better suited, but that's fine for now. They're winning games. If they're winning, who cares? And then you got Julio hitting 3rd, Josh Naylor hitting 4th, and Eugenio Suárez hitting 5th, 6th, 6th, Jorge Polanco, the designated hitter, and then you've got Dom Canzone in right field, JP at short, and then Cole Young at second base. And there is not a weak spot on that lineup right now. There's guys that are a little bit better or a little bit worse, but there is no easy out. I mean, Cole Young has been on fire. He started off when they brought him up, he's slow, just like every rookie hitter is. But he has come into his own. I mean, he mashed with that ball 455 feet earlier this week, and I didn't know he had that kind of power. I knew he could hit the ball at the ballpark, but I didn't know he had that kind of power. And another thing I love about Cole Young, too, is he puts together a good at-bat. He works the count, and gets on base for his team, and he's not an easy out. Dom Canzone is just, I can't believe the progression he's made to be he's our 7th hitter in the lineup, and he is a tough out right now, and he's hitting 300, and obviously has major pop. And Jorge Polanco is having a much better year this year. He's hitting over 250. He's got 17 home runs, over 60 RBI. His OPS is near 800. And May was a rough month, but he's bounced back and had a couple really good months. And so this lineup up and down is just, it's really one of the best lineups in the league. And I heard this said somewhere else, and I agree with it. This has got to be one of the best lineups they've put out there since 2001, and the best one to let them compete for a division title. So with all that said, it's time to go. They got to go on a real run. They need 11 of 12. They need to go on an 8-game winning streak, something to that nature to really separate themselves and go after that division. If they go on an 8-game win streak right now, they'll be in first place. They just will. The Astros are not playing that good right now. They're regressing, and some of the additions they made, I don't know that's going to help them all that much with some of the other pitching and other issues they have. And so go on a run, Mariners. You got to take advantage of the moment right now, what's in front of you, and go get it done. Long run, 8-game win streak, 11 of 12. Go get it. And next up, we're going to go through an update on the Mariners farm system. The Mariners have one of the deepest farm systems in all of Major League Baseball. We just talked about the trade deadline and how they didn't have to give up many of their top-end prospects. So we'll go through where they're at, how that's going, what's going on with them. We're going to go through about 10 of them. So we're going to do it kind of quick, give you quick highlights, but a couple key things that just recently happened that I want you to make sure you know about. So the Mariners' number 1 prospect, Colt Emerson. I think he's 19 years old. He's a shortstop, third baseman. He's been in High A Everett, the Aqua Sox. Been fun to go watch him play. I lived near there, and so that's been fun when he's been in town. But he just got promoted to Double A, which is a big deal, going from high Single A to Double A. And it shows his progression, shows what he's been working on, what he's been doing. And along with him, another draft pick from this a draft pick from this last year was Durangelo Cinche, switch pitcher. He was also at high Single A in Everett, and he also got moved up to Double A Arkansas. And so both those players being promoted was a big deal, and just shows that they're both closer to making the Major League squad. And both those players have high expectations of playing for the Mariners in the big leagues here in the next couple of years. And so great to see that. Now, another player that's one of the top prospects, Lazaro Montes, Laz, he got promoted up to Double A earlier this year as well, and he's been doing really well. Laz is a player with a ton of power, and you think of it like a Yordan Alvarez type player, big, tall, tons of power. And, he was a guy that talking about maybe they have to trade a guy like that away to get a impact bat. And the fear is, man, are you just trading away David Ortiz all over again? Because for those of you who don't know, David Ortiz, Hall of Fame designated hitter for the Boston Red Sox, started his career with the Seattle Mariners, and they traded him away to the Twins, and the Twins released him, and then he signed with Boston. So is he a guy like that could be just a major power hitter in the middle of your lineup? Who knows? But for now, he's still in the system, and he's going to keep playing. So I'm excited to keep watching him and the way he develops. Feline Celestin, shortstop, single A, 5-tool type player, raw upside, electric player, 2023 international signee. Harry Ford, he's the main talk of these trade debates. He's in AAA. He's speed and power combo. He's a catcher. So he's kind of blocked from Cal Raleigh being the main guy. So I don't know what his opportunities are here. Maybe they'll move him in the offseason. But for now, he's still with the organization. Michael Arroyo infield plays at AA, Arkansas, underrated bat. He's got a 953 OPS at AA this year, so he's doing really well. Another player, Johnny Farmello. He's at high A, Everett, super high speed, growing power, somebody to keep an eye on, having a great season so far. Ryan Sloan, he is one of the future pitchers that's getting a lot of attention as the next Logan Gilbert, the next George Kirby, kind of that kind of pitcher. And he's at single A, high A, single A. He's got a 0.72 ERA, 26 strikeouts in 24 innings. He is rising fast, so keep an eye on him. Ryan Sloan, a big-time pitcher to keep your eye out for. Ty Pete, he's one of these guys from a couple years ago, young high school kid they drafted. He's at high A. He's got 16 home runs this year, super athletic. He's an outfielder, shortstop type, drafted as a shortstop, and now he's playing a little bit more outfield as he develops. And then the last guy I want to highlight is the guy they just drafted as the number 3 overall pick, Cade Anderson, their first pick, the LSU ace, College World Series MVP. He's not going to pitch this year at all because he threw a lot during the regular season for college, and they want to save his arm. But he is going to be a plug-and-play type player. He'll spend some time in the minor leagues, but I wouldn't be surprised by the end of next year if he's up pitching in the major league. He's that good. He's that kind of talent. When you draft him with number 3 pick, you want him fairly ready to go to the major leagues, and that's who they got. And so it was a gift they got that. It was a gift they got the number 3 pick, fell to them, and then got Cade Anderson with that number 3 pick. Many thought he was going number 1. And so not many. Most draft boards I saw ahead of time was number 1. So the question is, who else are you going to go get? So the fact they got him, and he'll, like I said, rest until he's ready to go next year. And so I'm excited to see what he's going to do. So all those guys, none didn't have to trade a single one away. Tyler Locklear was the only one they had to trade away, and he was number 10 on their overall list. And so every single one of those guys has got a bright future, and they're not all going to hit. But if the Mariners can hit on 4 of those guys to be regular player starters, you're then looking at an Astros-type team where you develop these guys, put it through your system, draft the right players, and all of a sudden they're regular everyday players that you can keep on your roster year in and year out and keep developing and let yourself go on a run and have some of the pitching they have. The future is bright for the Seattle Mariners. This is when Jerry Dipoto tore down this team. It was not just to build up the major league team, but also build up an excellent farm system so you can trade, so you can develop, so you can replenish your team if somebody leaves via free agency. And this is what it's looking like right now. And so I'm excited for this future. I'm excited where these players, what they're doing and where they're at. And we'll just have to keep an eye on them, and I'll check back with them maybe at the end of the season, how they all finished. And then we will keep tabs on them as they move their way through the organization. Cal Raleigh, big dumper. I'm almost at a loss for words what to say about Cal Raleigh this year. I think when he signed his contract this offseason, there were many out there that thought, like, okay, is he going to regress? Is he actually going to live up to it now that he's got the money? And I think what we've seen is a guy that just let go and is like the weight of trying to get a contract is gone, and he can get paid now, and he doesn't have to worry about it. So he just go play ball. And what he's been doing this year as a catcher, leading the league in home runs, top 2 an RBI, and all doing this playing Gold Glove caliber defense at catcher. And he's going to set records that no other player has done before. He's already set records. He had 38 home runs at the break. He's got 42 so far up till this point. Still leads the league, and it's just absolutely insane what he's doing. Now, he's going through a little bit of a slumpish right now. I don't know that our All-Star break had a whole lot to do with it, but in the month of July, he hit like 199. He had 7 home runs still, but he didn't have any doubles. He struck out at a high rate, and I really think moving him from second to like fourth would help free him up. You can keep Julio at third. We'll talk about Julio next, but you can put Josh Naylor at second, I think, and you put Cal at fourth. That maybe help him. And my observation's really on Cal right now, going through a slump, and it's just, it looks like earlier in the year he let the game come to him. Like as he was being pitched to, he just reacted, and he would mostly swing at the good pitches and let the ones that are outside the zone go. Lately, it seems if it is a first pitch, he's swinging no matter what. And I think pitchers have gotten onto that, and so they've been giving more breaking balls or not throwing it over the plate. And I'm just seeing that chase rate on the first pitch just amplified. And so you're all of a sudden in an 0-1 hole, you're in an 0-2 hole, and I just think it puts him in a tough spot. And I think if he let the game come to him a little bit more patient, that could help. Obviously, I'm not his hitting coach. I'm not the hitting coach, but that's just my observations of what I see is let the game come to you a little bit more, be maybe a little less aggressive on that first pitch, adjust back to the pitchers. That's great if you're he's hit a lot of home runs on first pitches this year, which is great. But the pitchers have adjusted to you, and they're not throwing you the same. They're not just trying to get the fastball over for a strike now. They understand what you're trying to do. So maybe pivot back. Just take that first pitch, even if it's a fastball right down the middle, and make them work it a little bit more. And you got to, when players are going through a tough time, it's just great to see them get a clutch hit. And today he had a big RBI single down the line, and it was with 2 strikes, and he just laced the line drive, and he's starting to swing the bat a little bit better. So let's hope he comes out of it. But either way, Cal's going to hit 50 home runs this year. And, there was talk he was going to hit 60. He's probably not. I mean, as a catcher getting beat up the way he does and how much he plays, it's understandable he's just not going to carry through those power numbers. But it's not unreasonable for him to hit 50 this year, and that would be a all-time record for catchers. It would be an all-time record for switch hitting catchers, all of the above. And so it's exciting to see what he's doing. Now, Julio has been pretty darn consistent this year. Now, is he like Aaron Judge like numbers? No, but I'm kind of wondering, like, should we not? I guess I'm wondering, should we expect that? Now, he just stole his 20th bag and hit his 20th home run of the year. And so that set in a major league record for first 4 seasons of his career. He's a 2020 guy. And I was kind of surprised to hear that because really there's not other guys in the league that have ever done that before. But I think that just shows his athleticism, his raw abilities, even when he's not doing great, like he's struggling at the plate a bit, he still has the ability to put the ball out of the ballpark. He still has the ability to run bases. He plays a great defensive center field. And I think we've undervalued and underappreciated Julio. When you get the big contract, you want him to just carry the team. But the nice thing is he doesn't have to carry the team right now. With the additions they've made, with Cal doing what he's doing, he can be a piece on this team. And I think he's seeing more comfortability with that. I really think he's more comfortable. Julio's a second half hitter too. But like even in July he hit 7 home runs, and he only hit like 230. But in August he's been picking up the pace. In the last 30 days he's hitting 270. He has 9 home runs, and so his power is starting to come through. His strikeout numbers are going up a little bit, but I think you take that and you're getting more power. And he's probably going to finish with 30 home runs and 30 steals this year. And if you'd have told me that at the beginning of the year, I probably would believe you because he just is a great second half hitter. Getting Julio, he had a big 3-run home run today. Getting him on track and producing at a high rate, that's really going to help this team go. And I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to see what he does. We could talk about each one of these guys in the lineup, but those are the 2 guys I want to focus on. Julio and Cal are going to help carry this team to the playoffs. I just know it. And what Cal's doing is just incredible, and Julio's picking up steam. That's all you can ask. you love him to do that in the first half, which he did a little bit more than he's done in the past, but it doesn't matter when. We're here now in the moment. Let's just go. Let's produce, and let's carry it through. And that's all we got on the show today. No Andy's rant today. I'm happy. Everything's good. The Mariners are winning games, 5-1 since the Geno trade, and I'm super optimistic and hopeful where they're going to be headed. Next show I put out, hopefully they'll be in first place, and I'm going to try to put out some more daily content too, so keep it, follow us along on Instagram at Wing and a Prayer Podcast, also on X, Wing and a Prayer Podcast. You can follow me on there, and then you can find this show pretty much wherever you find your podcast content, including Spotify, Amazon, YouTube. Just follow along. And if you like the show, listen, like it, share it with your friends. Let's just talk Mariner baseball and go. And if you have a guest that you think would be good for me to have on too, maybe suggest. I want to bring on a guest soon. I got some ideas myself from the contacts I have, but if any of you know or listen to the show and you have a good idea of maybe who to request or bring on, or if you just want to come talk Mariner baseball with me, just hit me up. And I just want to say a super shout out to some of the kids that listen to the show, and Coop, appreciate listening to the show and thinking about all the other kiddos. It helps keep me going, keeps me wanting to come back doing this, and I have a blast doing it, just talking Mariner baseball, having some fun. And we're going to put out some more shows before the year ends, and we're going to ride this wave and hopefully bring you along for the ride. So, and try to give you my thoughts and takes on it. Thank you all. Have a great night, and go Mariners.